What a beautiful world we live in. Every corner of the planet shimmers with wonder, from the cerulean shades of the oceans to the mountains stretching high into the sky. It is easy to forget, but Earth is blessed with nature that not only gives us life but also looks pretty darn good in the process. But, that said, it's also pretty weird. These natural wonders exist almost beyond comprehension. Lakes aren't supposed to be pink, beaches aren't supposed to be black, mountains aren't supposed to be rainbow-colored and caves aren't supposed to glow, but you'll find all this and more in our collection of the bizarre places in the world. One. Jervis Bay, Australia. Australia's Jervis Bay is actually home to the whitest sandy beach on the planet, but visitors don't flock here for whiter than white sand. Okay, some do, but most head to this 102 square kilometer oceanic bay for the magic that comes after dark. Jervis Bay is one of the few places on the planet where people can see the wonder of bioluminescence, as masses of plankton glow in the dark and give the water a gorgeously ethereal look. These are noctiluca, or maybe the more apt sea sparkle, and the light is a chemical reaction causing excitement and vibration, generating a glow in the process. Bioluminescence is most often seen in the warmer months, but you can get lucky at all times of the year in Jervis Bay. 2. Spotted Lake, Canada. Hidden away in British Columbia, Canada's Spotted Lake, known to First Nations people as Quileuk, is straight out of science fiction. This small body of water is packed with different minerals, from masses of calcium and sodium sulfates to small amounts of silver and titanium. When the water evaporates in summer, a weird collection of deposits is left behind, giving the Spotted Lake its moniker. You can actually walk around the deposits in summer, although good luck shaking the feeling that something might jump out at any moment. 3. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. If aliens exist on Earth, they exist here. The Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is a weirder than weird piece of wonder that is the result of 3 tectonic plates diverging and leaving behind lava lakes, acidic springs and more. It is known as the hottest place on the planet, and that is no joke. Geothermal activity in summer causes temperatures to reach as high as 55 degrees Celsius. 4. Zhangyadansha, China. It's easy to convince yourself that the swirling colors of China's Zhangyadansha mountains are actually a painting, but this gorgeous landscape is very, very real. The colors are thanks to the whimsical movements of mineral deposits over millennia, although it took just about that much time for China to pay much attention to it. Several observation decks offer visitors stunning views without damaging the landscape, which is good news for everyone. 5. Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. According to legend, the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland dates back to the time of Fionn mac Cool, a giant tasked with defending his land from the fearsome Benin Donner. The story goes that Fionn decided to take the challenge head-on, and built this causeway as a way to approach his foe, although the story goes off in many directions from there. Whatever its origins, the sight of some 40,000 basalt columns jutting out into the North Atlantic Ocean is one of the most unique images around, backed by imposing hills and the quietly seething sea. 6. Lake Hillier, Australia. We wouldn't ever claim to be expert limnologists, but we know enough about lakes to know that they aren't usually pink. Not pink of any shade, let alone bright bubblegum pink. But that is the hue of Lake Hillier, a saline lake found on the edges of Middle Island in Western Australia. Algae, halobacteria and other microbes create this incredible scene, one that would be safe to swim in if you could actually go in the water. It isn't the easiest to get to, though, with scenic flights pretty much the best option. 7. Tianzi Mountains, China. Not your ordinary mountain peaks, that's for sure. The peaks of the Tianzi Mountains are China look as if they were designed by a writer of dystopian fiction, straight out of a post-apocalyptic planet where survival is the only ambition. That may sound very dramatic, but the drama is inspired in heavy doses by these stunners, found in Zhangjiajie and Hunan province. The mountains are easily accessible from Zhangjiajie, although you really need to be a bird to see the full picture. 8. Green Bridge of Wales. Natural arches are weird wherever they are, be it the mountains of Bosnia and Herzegovina or the massive arch found in Arches National Park, Utah. There is something beautifully fragile about the Green Bridge of Wales, however, and it's accentuated by the sleepy serenity of the Pembrokeshire coast and that inimitable sense of poetry that flows out of this small nation. The arch is located in the Castlemartin military area, so be sure to call ahead and make sure you can actually get to the thing. 9. Darvaza Gas Crater, Turkmenistan. If you've always wanted to visit the gates of hell, you better get your skates on. Not the actual gates of hell, that will have to wait for the afterlife, but Turkmenistan is planning on closing its Darvaza gas crater soon. The crater has been burning for decades, creating one of the most intense images on the planet, and visitors have flocked here for the sort of view that just shouldn't be possible. Nobody really knows how it ignited, but we can only assume it had something to do with Beelzebub. 10. Rainbow River, Colombia. The name is something of a giveaway. Okay, the official name is Caño Cristales, but Colombia's Rainbow River is an incredible celebration of color that must be seen to be believed. Red, yellow, purple and greens abound in this liquid rainbow, flowing dramatically through the Serranía de la Macarena National Park, with the colors changing depending on light conditions. Red dominates, thanks to the Macarena clavigerol plants on the river's bed, and the many waterfalls accentuate what is already an incredible sight. 11. Vinicunca, Peru. Sticking with rainbows and South America, Peru's Rainbow Mountain is straight out of a psychedelic dream. Vinicunca's unique multicolored marble look is the result of sedimentary deposits over the centuries, and the whole thing makes for a truly remarkable hike. It takes around 4 hours to scale the mountain, depending on how often you stop to marvel at how you're actually climbing a rainbow mountain. 12. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. Unfortunately, these natural wonders aren't literally made out of chocolate, they are simply covered in grass that turns brown during the dry season. Found in the Bohol province of the Philippines, the Chocolate Hills are among the most popular tourist attractions in the country and are undoubtedly its weirdest. Nobody really knows how many chocolate hills there actually are, with most estimates in the 1,800 range. That doesn't really matter though, only chocolate does. 13. Lunar Rainbow, Victoria Falls, Zambia. A moonbows. No, it isn't a fantastical creation of a children's fiction writer, but a very real phenomenon found at the already magnificent Victoria Falls in southern Africa. These nighttime rainbows are only visible when there is a considerable amount of spray splashing back from the powerful cascades, so don't bother heading here during the dry season in hopes of a miracle. The rainbow happens when light from the moon interacts with all the spray, and the results are magical. 14. Thor's Well, USA. Some people refer to Thor's Well as the drain pipe of the Pacific, but that just sounds downright disgusting. We'll stick to Thor's Well, a thrilling sinkhole that seems to suck the power of the ocean into its grasp at will. It is something of an oceanic black hole, so don't expect to be able to go for a dip in it, lest you be sucked into the underworld for all eternity. This rough basalt hole is a few miles south of Yachats in the Cape Perpetua Scenic Area, Oregon. 15. Champagne Pool, New Zealand. We aren't entirely sure if swimming in Champagne sounds fantastic or just really, really sticky, but New Zealand's Champagne Pool well and truly deserves its spot on our collection of weird and wonderful places around the world. This fascinating pool, some 30 kilometers southeast of Rotorua, isn't actually filled with champagne, but it gets the name from the constant flow of carbon dioxide gas, giving it a bubbling characteristic similar to that oh so luxurious beverage.